The NHL gives us just one playoff game tonight, but it's a good one. We have the Bruins on the brink on the island where they've won just once in 6 games this season. Let's get into top plays for this game 6 with DraftKings contributor Geoff Ulrich, along with Rotowire's Bruno and AJ Scholz. Paul, you were the only one who thought you'd see a Bruins win in game 5, thinking they'd have enough left in the tank there. Do they have enough left in the tank tonight to force a game 7 as minus 137 road favorites?
Come on, Emerson, give me a break. I'm the only one that took the Lightning over Carolina too here.
It's true. It's true. I love that about you.
I'm going to do something today that I've not done in a long time, and that's bet against the Bruins, guys. Game 5 may have been their last gasp for this group in the 2021 playoffs. I don't get the line at all tonight. It favors the Bees on the road after losing last time out on their home rink. They may have a huge question mark in the Nets with Rask being a doubtful starter. I'll say from what I saw, game time decision is what we expect. They may be forced to go with Jeremy Swayman in the Nets, and may also be out without Brandon Carlo and Kevin Miller, 2 experienced hands on the blue line. Meanwhile, the Isles appear to be fully healthy and getting stellar net mining from their own Semyon Varlamov and a guy named Matt Barzal all of a sudden waking up and playing like a first-line center over there too. Looks like the Islanders are winning this war of attrition, and I'm finally going to go on them at plus 115 on the money line to wrap up the series tonight. This is their game 7, though. If they blow it, I'm back on the Bruins for game 7.
Okay, well, we'll dive a little more into Barzal's recent performance coming up. But AJ, thoughts about backing the Bruins here as a road favorite, minus 137?
Game 6 in the Coliseum, if we've learned anything from the first round, it's not to bet against the Islanders in this situation. The fact that Rask is clearly less than 100%, but they continue to stick with him is rather telling. Instead of looking at Swayman or even Yaroslav Halak, who is still on this team. We haven't talked about that guy in forever. The blue line is just too thin right now due to those injuries that Paul mentioned. No Kevin Miller, no Brandon Carlo. You combine the fact that Barzal found his game. I just don't see how you move away from the Isles in this one, especially when you're getting solid value at plus 116.
Geoff, let's keep in mind, though, this group has been in a game 6 situation like this before. First round in 2019 against Toronto, and then the Stanley Cup final against St. Louis that same year, a couple of months later. So you think they can do it tonight?
Oh, man. I mean, this feels like a bit of a trap, right? I mean, you look at this line, and like Paul said, like what? We're almost getting the same price we got on the Islanders in game 5 here when they were on the road. I mean, I was really expecting to see possibly the Islanders even be slight favorites here, just with the Rask news alone. You've got Semyon Varlamov as well going to be in the nets for the Islanders. He's got great home splits. You've got an Islanders team who's just chugging along, getting scoring from like 3 or 4 lines right now. And I know they got outshot in game 5, but when you have goaltending like Varlamov right now, I just don't think it matters. So I won't take the contrarian point here. I've liked the Islanders just as the underdogs. And if they're going to keep giving me this price for game 6 at home, I don't really know how you don't take it. So I'm a little bit wary, I guess. And I agree with Paul. Like if this goes back to 7, I'll probably switch to the Bruins too. But I'm going to take the Islanders tonight. I think you may even just see a blowout. You may just see the Islanders just go in front quickly. And that's the end of this.
The Bruins only 1 win inside the barn, and that was like a miracle Marchand goal in overtime. I think it was game 3. The team's traded 9 goals, though, last time out in game 5. Total still sits at 5. These games here on the island, they have been tough, dudes. AJ, you leaning towards the under?
Well, before I dive into that, we'll do some breaking news here. Bruce Cassidy has confirmed that Tuukka Rask is going to be in goal tonight. Just came across. So we will see Tuukka between the pipes here. In terms of the over-under here, I think we're going to continue to see some goals in this series once again. And I'll continue to look instead to the alternate total to get some value here, taking the over 5.5 to get plus 125. Like Geoff mentioned the other day about taking on that risk instead of the push option at 5. But to me, to go from minus 141 for over 5 to plus 125 to give up that half goal just makes too much sense. It's an acceptable risk to me. Besides, nobody likes a push. That's why we eliminated ties in the NHL.
Love that, and well done on the breaking news, Brian Gumbel. Geoff, how about you, dude?
Yeah, The 5 total is just too attractive for me not to take the over here. Again, you have the push factored in, but even with the Rask news, I mean, I actually think that favors the over a little bit because it gives you more of an opportunity where we might just get in a similar situation. I mean, where Rask just, he's making a go of it, but it just obviously like the injury catches up to him, or we just get a barrage of Islanders goals. So I think this actually favors the over a little bit. And again, just with the 5 total, with the way the Islanders offense mainly has been going, I would lean that way as well.
All right, Paul, how about you? Which way you leaning, over or under?
I'm going to make it 2-1 again. I have a sense that this game will be seeing the teams revert back to a low-scoring affair where both of them lean on their DNA. They're known as 2 of the 2 stingiest teams in the league, and that's the real difficulty for Boston here as they find themselves trailing a team that can play any style that's thrown at them. Going toe-to-toe with the veteran crew is what the Islanders have done very well, and they've actually worn them down a little bit. It looks to me like Boston is now having difficulty keeping up with their opponents on the island.
So here's what Cassidy said on Rask, by the way, just to add a little bit to the breaking news that AJ just dropped. So he's ready to go. It's that simple. He's our starting goalie. He's healthy and ready to go. Let's hope he's on tonight and we're better in front of him. Okay, well, he's going to have his hands full here with Matthew Barzal, who has goals in 3 straight games. That's after he went like 8 straight without a goal. B's top line of Bergeron, Marchand, Pasternak, they produced in game 5. It's unfortunate they can't leave that trio on the ice for all 60 minutes. What is a player prop, though, that makes sense for tonight's game 6, Geoff?
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at the Islanders roster and you look at some of these props and you just realize, like, half their roster just being discounted here in the odds. I mean, I like just going to pure just to score a point odds, 1+ point on the DraftKings Sportsbook. You could look at Eberle or you could look at Anthony Beauvillier, but both these guys, in my estimation, they're undervalued here. I mean, I think Jordan Eberle at +100 to score a point. This dude's got 3 points now in his last couple games. He's got 15 shots on goal. And Beauvillier is actually playing more minutes per game as well. And I mean, he's just been a massive point producer in the playoffs. He's available around +100, +105, to score a point. So you could take either of them. I would probably lean with Beauvillier just because, again, you get the volume, a little bit more time on ice. He's just been a little bit more consistent point producer. But either of those guys to score a point at home in the playoffs, they're going to get a lot of ice time. Again, the Islanders forwards just being discounted here. That's where I would go for player props.
Paul, where would you go for a player prop?
I'm kind of with Geoff on this one. I'm looking at the second line for the Islanders, and it's a night for the visitors to pick their poison to try and limit Barzal, who has 6 points over the 4 games. We mentioned that. Or the Islanders' second line, which has actually been a bit more consistent in these playoffs for the New Yorkers. The Bruins are focused more on the defense, will focus more on the top line. That means I look for a guy like Brock Nelson to break out. Again, he scored in the last game. I think he's going to make it 2 in a row with his second line mates also factoring in the scoring to be a difference maker again tonight. So I look for that payout on Nelson at +275 when he scores this evening.
AJ, what's your player prop of choice tonight?
I'm also on the Islanders, but I'm going to look all Matty B against the Bees here. So you can get him +230 to score a goal, which I think is ridiculous value when you consider he's done it in 3 straight games. You add that to the fact that you can get near even money at -106 to have him over 2.5 shots. That's a threshold he's reached in 4 straight games. And look, if you're going to bet him to score a goal, you might as well take the 1+ point on the DK Sportsbook at -139. Give up a little juice there, obviously, but if you're going to take the risk at 230, why not add the point on top of it?
And then on the DFS side, it's showdown time. Who makes most sense as a captain play tonight, Paul?
My captain tonight is the winning goalie, Emerson. I expect Varlamov to continue to be a difference maker for the home team. He's allowed 10 goals in the last 4 games and been on top of his game with about a 94% save percentage. The key will be to keep the low goals against in what I believe will be that low-scoring game. Combine that with a win, and you got a game score that will be tougher for any skater to match in the showdown format. It should really be that simple.
All right, Paul. Good answer. AJ, what about you?
Well, I'm actually on the opposite end of the ice in terms of, the goalie here. I think with the fact that I expect it to hit the over, I'm avoiding either netminder in this one when you consider it's a banged up Tuukka Rask. Varlamov has been solid all series, but I'm expecting some goals here, similar to what we saw in the last game. So for me, shouldn't come as a surprise. I'm on Matthew Barzell. 12.9 is the price tag. He's cheaper than some of the perfection line guys, so you're saving a little bit on that side of it. And you can easily pair him up with Eberle, who comes in at just 6,200 to do a 1-2 punch from that first line.
And Jeff, bring us home your DFS play in this game, captain.
Yeah, no, I'll bring it out with a round of Islanders as well. I mean, I think I'll just stick with AJ's call. I mean, that was my main call from the beginning. You want to probably get exposure to the Barzell Eberle pairing, whichever way you slice it. I think if you want to go a contrarian route, going Eberle in the captain spot is fine. You're going to save money, and look, he's just as capable of getting you like a couple goals or a hat trick, especially again game. Elimination games. These are Jordan Eberle's forte, right? So I don't think that putting him in the captain over Barzell is necessarily like that big a contrarian move, but I think it will get you a lot of leverage in showdown formats. So I do like that pairing though. And again, whichever way you go with the captain spot, I think you're getting access to multi-goal upside, which really should be, obviously your target here. So I'll say Eberle just for the savings and to be a little bit contrarian, but realistically, I'm targeting that Barzell Eberle pairing for sure tonight.